This is a special report coming to you from the Skills and Technology Newsroom, high atop the towering metropolis of New York City. The following information has... Oh my God, I can't really do this for real. Anyway, here you go, Lou. Take it away.
You know, I'm really hesitant of clicking on videos because you're always thinking it's clickbait or something, Joe. But BBC had a headline with the screen and the play button, and the caption was "World's largest firework set off in Colorado, USA." I said, "Well, I got to watch this thing." So I clicked it. It was awesome. We'll put a link to it in the show notes. But anyway, it was a Guinness World Record for the largest aerial firework. It was 2,800 pounds. Prior to that, there was a 2,300 pound aerial firework set off in the United Arab Emirates. So what does this have to do with anything? Joe, I want your opinion and experience and maybe a story or two of how in the media and entertainment industry do frontline people work with pyrotechnicians and the shows at stadiums, the obvious shows of like at a show, Kiss on stage blowing up stuff constantly. What's the insight on that?
Interesting. Yeah, there's obviously a whole art form to pyro. And then the
Right.
safety of pyro is as big as pyro itself, the creative side. And then there's the capture of pyro, which becomes tricky. Everyone has had a camera that when you turned your camera and all of a sudden a big light flash went off in front. You see your camera just like lose its mind for that time. In pros, that's the iris, and pros are riding their iris. So meaning that they're opening and closing it and adjusting it for the different light shifts.
Right.
And that in itself is a big thing. Even still photographers I'm thinking stadiums right now, in sporting events, it became a huge thing to have these big pyros go off, not only on the top of the stadium, but also on the field as players are coming out, which is a shot you have to get as you're a network. You want to get the players running onto the field. Meanwhile, there's pyros going off left and right, which are changing the light conditions considerably.
Right.
So there's a lot going on there. It's not only the camera operator themselves. There's video operators in the trucks in those events who have to be able to adjust accordingly. And then there's a huge safety factor.
Yeah, sure.
It's there. And it's something called cold pyro. And I happen to be very close friends with, I grew up in the music business with a guy, Dan Ransauer. Danny! I knew him from Sequential Circuits. Dan became, his hobby was pyro.
And you said cold pyro, Joe? I didn't want to.
Yeah, that's what I'm sliding to.
Okay, go ahead.
So what I know from Dan as an insider and from what I've learned from those guys. But when you're on a stage, you obviously can't, let me back that up. You shouldn't set off normal pyro. Because if you set up normal pyro, it's flames. And it's real, it's real stuff. It's explosion. It's gunpowder. Or variations in chemicals that make it colorful and all that. But anyway, cold pyro is what they developed to allow you to shoot off inside arenas, inside a club, in places where it won't catch fire. Don't ask me about the science behind it. Don't know. But yeah, there's some brilliant minds in that world. And it's interesting because they cross over from chemistry to creative and they're all over the place. There's science. There's a lot of technology. If you go back to one of our podcasts earlier, there's MIDI controls that set off a lot of pyro. It's fascinating for me. And if we ever had time, I have some great stories about going to the pyro convention where it's the pyro guys from all over the world get together and not only sell their wares, but compete. And there's nothing better than sitting deep in the woods in Montana when there's nobody around watching pyro lunatics competing with each other.
Joe, that is fantastic. I hope and pray we can actually do a full-length podcast, maybe get a guest and get your buddy on. That would be a great show.
Yes, it would.
Yep. If you're looking for other shows and little Ferro Bites, they're available on our podcast and at our website, ferrocity.com. Go check it out. Joe, thanks, bud. See you later, man.
You got it. Ciao.
Yep. Peace.
Thanks for listening to today's show. We've got some really exciting online courses coming up on ferocity.com. See for yourself the exclusive details at ferocity.com and make sure you get on board for early notification of class openings, enrollment opportunities, and founding member benefits. Details at ferocity.com.